I'm back now looking at an e-bike that is the cargo style of e-bike, step-through design, and it comes with these bike racks. A front bike rack that can take 13 kilos, a rear one that can take 25, and this model from ENGWE is called their L20. The price of it too is around 300 to 400 US or euros cheaper than competitors that offer a similar design. Battery capacity, well, this is 13 amp hours. It's removable, it's locked into place, and you also need the key to turn the whole bike on. So it's got mechanical disc brakes. They are 160 millimeters, cable pull system, unfortunately not hydraulic, and a rear hub motor, well, that's 250 watts, 50 newton meters of torque. And it is out of the box here locked down to 25 kilometers per hour because I've got the European version here. Comes with the throttle. We've got Shimano 7 speeds, very standard there. I'll run over a few other things about this particular bike and I'll let you know exactly what you can expect. Our front shock does not have a brand to it at all, which is typical of these bikes. Now there is adjustable preload and you can lock it out completely and see where my grease mark is. Yes, I did end up bottoming out this shock and you hear it later on in the video. So what happened is it just went up that far that it ends up the tire striking the inner mudguard. Now it could partly be my fault because the preload, I didn't check this out in the beginning, was set to the least possible amount there. So I just increased that and now it won't bottom out. But you can see that you can get the full travel here out of the shock. And that is around about 70 millimeters, which is quite a bit, 70, 80 millimeters there. And see here with the front hub that there's just simply the bolt there. So there's no quick release, only the seat post. You just pull on that and you can drop it right down. Now that seat post does go down quite low and being a step through, it's very easy to get on this bike. If you want to know the rider heights that it caters to, the L20, then do check out ENGWE's website. There's a link in the description of this video and you will find that our battery, that's locked into place, which is great. Now the seat, you don't need to remove it because there is this little tiny lever here on the seat post that if you simply pull that up, you can push then the seat forward and that allows us to remove the battery. The good part about this 13 amp hour battery is that it acts as also not only just, well, locked into place, but also an ignition switch for the whole bike. So this is the main power on or off. So when you turn that to push in then and around, it goes into the unlock position and you're able then to remove that battery. Very easy to do so. So you can charge it inside the office at home, or you can just simply leave it in the bike and charge it like so. This battery is 624 watt hours, 13 amp hours, and you'll find the charging plug on the side. There's this little cap that does cover it. Charge time is 6.5 hours to around about 7 hours. The seat has a synthetic leather to it and a lot of padding. You can see there's about at least 2 inches, maybe 3. It's soft and I don't have any complaints with it. It's a comfortable seat and you're in a comfortable upright riding position. Thanks to these handlebars. Now you can raise the position of the handlebar, the height of it, up or down, and you're able to push it or pull it forward to you. There is a level of adjustment with it that we don't see with some other bikes. Normally with cable pull systems, the levers will have an adjustment right here. They are missing with these brake levers. This one on the left does have a bell built into it, which is reasonably loud. There's no electric buzzer, unfortunately. And if you're looking for that brake adjustment, being cable pull, you always need to go along and tweak them later on. The adjustment is on the caliper itself right here. So if you end up twisting this up, that will tighten up the cable. The paint job is this matte black, and I can't see any issues with the welds in the frame, the design of the frame. There doesn't seem to be any weak points that I can see. They've got a bit of reinforcing here too as well. And this bike rack, so 25 kilos as I mentioned in the start, it's quite a sturdy one and it is painted with the same matte black paint job. So these mud guards, they are made out of metal. So this means they will be susceptible to stone chips and possible rusting. Hopefully that's not going to happen. I do prefer plastic mud guards. They tend to transmit less vibrations too as well. Our tail light, so this is quite a good tail light, LED, very nice and bright. You can see at night now, it stands out, and it is a 2-stage brake light. Front headlight is a very standard affair. I've seen this model used across other e-bikes, and it has a reflector at the bottom you can clearly see. And the front headlight, well, this LED, it's powerful. You can see it lights up the path ahead of me, and it does project out a good about 80 meters in front, so quite a safe distance and ideal for nighttime riding. Each of the rims does have a orange side reflector, so this does add to the safety again. So good that they've got the good lights, the reflectors there, making it a safer bike for nighttime riding. The L20 uses a clear display. Now, it doesn't have this shimmering that's just on camera. It's to do with my shutter rate. Unfortunately, it's the best I can get it in daytime. So you see clearly the battery gauge, our speed, pedal assist level, so that is 0 off, obviously, up to 5. Trip meter down below. So this is about my fourth ride now with the bike, 76 kilometers I have done. And I'll show you later on what kind of range you can get out of that 13 amp hour battery. And you press that again, you can see then the odometer. Sorry, if you tap the power button, which is located at the top, the plus and minus pedal assist levels are here, those buttons. And pressing and holding the up pedal assist, about 3 seconds, that'll give you a walk mode. And if you press and hold the down, that turns on then the headlight and tail light. Now, they haven't used lock grips. They're using these standard style rubber ones that I have seen, well, about 20 bikes using these now, and the same twist style throttle. So this throttle, out of the box with the EU version, it's disabled. So it won't do anything at all. They need to do that for law. And it's up to you if you are going to unlock that. But check with your local laws if you're able to actually do this. A lot of countries do not allow you to have a working throttle or throttle at all. And here we have our gear selector from Shimano, which is very standard 7-speed setup. The shifts so far have been good, accurate. The alignment of the derailleur doesn't seem to have any issues. Now, pre-installed, we do have a protector for the derailleur. You have to pull that out a little bit, otherwise it might limit you from getting in the 7th gear, and it is using the Shimano tourney. We've got a chain protector here, and the chain itself, this is a DC brand of chain. It's painted to help prolong the life of the chain to resist, hopefully, getting all rusted up like the non-painted chains. Finally, those knobbly fat tires, they are Chaoyang, the brand of them. So they've got that off-road style pattern to them. They're quite loud and noisy, but people will hear you coming. So they're 20 inches by 4 inches wide. Max inflate recommended with these tires is 20 PSI, and I'm running currently 10 PSI on the front and 12 PSI on the rear, just to help soften up the ride a little. Now onto the ride quality and comfort. So this style of frame, which is a step-through frame, makes it very easy to get onto the bike. It is comfortable, and there's a nice amount of space here, so my knees are not going to strike the handlebars. They don't get close at all. And I do love the fact that I can put, for example, a bag here on the front, and I can also get myself set up with a bag that I could put on the rear bike rack. Now the rear bike rack, as I mentioned, 25 kilos. The front one's 13 kilos only, but that is ample. And we've even got room here for a bottle with a bottle holder mount point. So the bike seat, nice and wide, nice and comfortable. The kickstand also holding up the bike just fine, no problems with that. And I don't even need to pedal. I can use that throttle, which I have enabled. By default with the European version, the throttle is disabled, but it's very easy. A quick little Google search, you can find out how to unlock that. So going up this little climb here, which is a little steep, it's not that bad, effortless, very good, no problems there with it. And the front shock, so it can be locked out completely. There is adjustable preload. It doesn't have a lot of travel, but like I say in my other videos, it is certainly better than nothing. So at the front of it, because I got a bag here now too, a little bit heavier, you sometimes hear that. Now that noise was the metal mud guard. It will sometimes bang up the tire against it a little if you go down like a big drop, or just do what I did there, like jumping, pulling that front wheel up. Now it's not a bike designed for that, and even though it's got the knobbly fat tires, it really is not an off-road bike at all, but a little bit of rough stuff it can handle, and I'll show you that later on in the video. So a gentle climb here, not a problem at all, ample power, and I'm limited to the 25 kilometers per hour, so I can't go over that, but I can pedal over that, of course. So for the top speed, I am capped at 25 kilometers per hour. You can remove that limit. Again, just Google that. Now, if I do press hard and pedal as fast as I can get it in the 7th gear up to around about 28, 29 kilometers. So the top speed isn't amazing. The 20-inch rim size, wheel size isn't going to help me. And then the gearing on it as well. So I believe it's 52 teeth at the front. That's about as fast as I can get, around 29, 28 kilometers, and that's on the flat. Of course, it's not using the motor when I go over 25 kilometers per hour. All right, so this is the climb test now, and it's about 20-25 degrees, this climb, so reasonably steep. Now, I'm in the 7th gear, which you probably shouldn't do, but I know it's got that much power that it can handle this. So they claim it's 250 watts, 50 Newton meters of torque and power, and with this steep climb now, I'm currently at 13 kilometers per hour. Now, others can do this about 15, 16, 17 kilometers per hour. So it's faring okay, but I'll put it now into a lower gear. So this is now in the 4th, and it's all right, going up now at 15. So this is climbing reasonably well. I'll just put it in the 3rd gear. So it depends what gear I'm in, but the climbing performance is excellent. This feels more like, I would say, a 750 watt motor to me, and all the e-bikes I've covered doesn't feel like it's actually capped at the 250. This feels very good. It's a 48 volt system. Oh, and to also comment on the gears, the changes, they do feel good. I haven't had any problems. Out of the box, the alignment was pretty much spot on. Okay, so emergency braking test now. Mechanical 160mm disc brakes from this white marker. All right, okay, so it didn't make it to before this particular column, okay, which some other e-bikes can do. That's the column there. It's made it to the 2nd one, which puts it in a average braking performance category there. So not amazing, could be better, could have better bite to them. I've bed them in now. I've done 66 kilometers, so these brakes are definitely better in the brake pads. Braking performance is good. It just could be a little bit better, and this is my complaint really with this bike, is I think even though the price is pretty decent for this style of bike, over 1,000 US or 1,000 euros, it should have hydraulic brakes. Now, riding along some rough stuff here, this is all over the place, up and down these paving stones, and the front shock I can feel doing a little bit of work, not a huge amount. The fat tires, of course, helping here, a bit of a climb, and it's handling it well, but again, I heard a bit of a noise then from the front metal mudguard. Okay, so some real world range here, because I'm down to, well, it's saying 2 bars, but I've seen it showing just 1 now. 53.6 kilometers, that's about it. I think maybe I can squeeze out another 5 to about 8 kilometers more. That'll be it for the 13 amp hour battery. In fact, it's fared better than I thought. Now to recap here, my findings in using this bike for a week now, I've done almost 70 kilometers on it, various different rides. So the front shock, it might be a no-brand front shock, but it's reasonable. It's got a good amount of travel. You sometimes get a rattle out of these mudguards. You may occasionally hear. Braking performance, that is my biggest criticism here. It's average. It's not like the hydraulic fat wheeled e-bikes that I am covering 20 inches that have better stopping performance, because they use 160mm hydraulic brakes with better bite. You can stop quicker. That's my area of complaint here. I think for the price point too, once you go over 1,000 US dollars or 1,000 euros, really should have hydraulics. I don't really think there's an excuse for that. The screen, it's clear, it's backlit, all that key information. The performance and climbs is great, really good. And you can unlock this to be a lot more powerful. So it's a 48 volt system, 13 hour amp battery here that's removable. And I love the fact that you can just pull that seat right up. I've seen this on other brands' bikes too as well. So that makes it easy just to remove that. You can charge it in your house or in your office and simply just slot it back in. The good news is it's locked into place, and you need to have the key to turn on the main power for the whole bike. You can also set a password up on the screen too, as well as another anti-theft kind of measure too there, that no one, or if they do steal the bike, they're at least not going to be able to power it on without that password, which would be a big problem for them. They'd have to change the whole controller and the screen and everything. Lights on it are good. However, there's a minor complaint from me, is that the front headlight, of course, is always going to be pointing where the bike rack is, not where you're actually steering, but you do get used to that. The rear tail light is very good, nice and clear, and it's 2-stage, so when you brake, that does turn on. And then the 20-inch fat wheel tires, 4 inches wide, they're nice and spongy, nice and soft, they're comfortable. This frame style being the step through, the upright handlebar position means you're riding upright like this, and it is very comfortable. So all up, it's a great bike. I really do like it, and I hope that ENGWE does release a Pro model of this. I would love to see an L2 Pro that has hydraulic brakes, torque sensor instead of speed sensor, and possibly, if they can fit it in, a larger battery than 13 amp hours. Although you can get over 50 kilometers, as I showed you, which came as a bit of a surprise considering it's only 13 amp hours and 20-inch sized wheels. So thanks a lot for watching my review here of the ENGWE L20.